Welcome back, everyone. Today is the second of my Day Zero Yu Yu Hakusho builds. This would be Chu. But before, I have a bit of an announcement. I have been accepted into UVS Games' partnership program. So they are actually sending me a box of Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament to open up on my channel. As a little bit of an early preview of what you can expect from your boxes and stuff, and I'm super excited about it, so thank you to UVS Games and the team there for acknowledging my tiny little humble channel and accepting me into the partnership program. I really appreciate it. So that's why I broke out the good pajamas today. I've actually had a couple people ask what my nice fancy black shirt is, and truth be told, they're pajamas. So I broke out a fancier pair of pajamas today to get into these awesome deck builds. This is Day Zero for Chu. So if you like deck build content and you're looking forward to the Dark Tournament like I am, feel free to please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of content coming up to this release, including that box opening, which, stay tuned if you like box openings. Who doesn't love opening packs? And yes, Sammy, very exciting. My cat's excited as well. But yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, and let's get into it. So Chu, as you guys will remember, is a 5-hand size 32 health character with Earth, Fire, and Order. We are doing an Order build, because that's the first one that jumped out at me when, as you can see, Sammy's. Say hi, Sam. He's a detention whore, but he's camera shy. So, no, you can't get up there. So anyway, sorry, distractions. Chu wants to commit your opponent's foundations. So I thought the order symbol would be apt, even though we're losing a lot of order symbol commit stuff with Electric Jolt and 1.3 million indiscriminate volts. But Chu has an enhance. If your non-throw attack deals damage, commit and flip one rival foundation. So, as long as it's not a throw and it touches them, you get to commit and flip one. You get to target. So that's really, really strong. You can still kind of see him down there. And then he has a response. After your rival's ready step, draw X cards and discard down to your printed hand size. X equals the number of committed foundations in your rival's stage, max 5. So Chu will almost always go into your opponent's turn with a full hand. So you can kind of be as reckless as need be, as long as you're forcing your opponent to tap down their foundations. Which I think kind of fits his all-or-nothing style. So speaking of all-or-nothing, our main fun kill condition, Knife Edge Deathmatch. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 5 with a +1 low block. It's got stun 1. It says enhance, if you took damage last turn, this attack gets 4 damage. This Knife Edge Deathmatch was all about just taking turns punching each other in the face. So if you get punched in the face, you get to punch back just even harder. And then it has a Chu enhance. If this attack is not blocked and your rival has 8 or more committed foundations, you win the game. So this checks for not if it deals damage, but if it's not blocked. So if your opponent chooses not to block and they have 8 or more committed foundations, you win. If they try to block and fail, and that block is not successful, you win. So even if this wouldn't kill them, you could still win as long as they fail the block. That's kind of what the main... Whoop, you want to get down? Okay. That's kind of the main win condition I wanted to push here, because he has his own alternate win condition. Why not try to play with it? Moving on, we have Ogre Boulder, a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 3 high for 5 with a +3 mid block. It's got ranged, stun 1, and Team Rokuyukai stun 1. As we are Team Rokuyukai, this is a stun 2, basically. It says enhance, if your rival has 2 or more face-down foundations, this attack gets 2 speed. And enhance, if your rival has 3 or more committed foundations, this attack gets 2 damage. So more often than not in Chu, this is going to be a 5 high for 7 stun 2 attack for a 4 diff. And then if it touches them, you get to commit and flip another card. So really solid. Then we have Ogre Killer, a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 3 with a +2 high block, with ranged and stun 1. It says enhance, flip 1 foundation. Your rival commits 1 foundation and 1 asset. So for flipping one of your foundations, you get to commit potentially 2 of your rival's resources. I mean, they get to choose, but still, if they've got a defensive foundation and a defensive asset, you can force them to commit 2 things. Again, on a 4 diff, really, really good. Then we've got Shards of Winter. So we want our things to touch. We want our attacks to hit. And this is a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 1 mid for 5 with a +2 mid block with ranged and stun 1. I made sure that all of our attacks have stun for a reason we'll get to in a minute. But it says enhance. If this attack is +X speed, X equals the number of your committed rival foundations. So we want our stuff to be able to hit. And if our opponent's trying to block everything so it doesn't hit, Shards of Winter can come in maybe like mid-string and really put on that pressure to guarantee that it hits. And it also has an enhance that says if it hits, if it deals damage, draw 1 card, which is something that, 5-handers love to do, as we saw with Bui. So I thought this was a really neat addition, especially on the order symbol, because it gives you something that a lot of these other attacks lack, and that's speed. This can really ramp up the speed, especially with its own stun, to really push itself through to guarantee that hit. And then lastly, we've got Flame Scourger. This is an old Endeavor 2 starter deck card from Todoroki. It's a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 3 with a +2 mid block. It's got Fury, ranged, and stun 1. This is enhance. If your rival has more committed foundations than ready foundations, this attack gets +3 damage. So it becomes a 4 mid 6. And I believe all of our attacks except for Knife Edge Deathmatch are 4s. So it allows us to really string together quite a few of these stun attacks if we get the chance, if we get the right hand. Which, considering you can sculpt a defensive hand, this also means if you're not afraid of dying, you can keep more attacks in your hand that you drew and kind of go from there and plan a counter-offensive. Moving on to our non-foundation, non-attack cards, I have Showdown, a 3 difficulty, 4 control, +3 high block action. It says response, after you block with this card, commit 2 rival foundations. So you block with this card, you select and commit 2 of your rival's foundations. This means they go into your turn with more committed foundations, which is an easy setup for Knife Edge Deathmatch. It also has a response, commit 2 foundations. After your rival plays an ability on an action card, cancel it. Usually, you're not going to be using that response. You're using this for the block, and being able to draw up to 5 cards on defense, emptying your hand of attacks, building out all of your foundations, and then drawing into a showdown or 2, really solid. Really cool. I might, thinking more, bump this up from 2 to maybe 3, but again, this is day 0. I obviously don't have the cards on me. I can't sleeve this up to test it out, and I am useless on Tabletop Simulator, so I prefer to do all of my testing up here on my mountain. Moving on to foundations, we have Master of Drunken Fighting, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. It says enhance commit, your rival commits a foundation. Simple. Especially if we're setting up our Knife Edge Deathmatch, we can stun 1 here, we can turn a couple of Drunken Fighting styles sideways to make our opponents commit some foundations to get up to that magic number 8. And I think that's hilarious that if your rival has 8 or more committed foundations and fail the block, you win. If your rival has 8 or more foundations, they're likely not blocking a 5 diff speed move anyway. So, yeah, it's kind of hilarious. But moving on, we have Rokuyukai Huddle, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block with the ally and unique keywords. It says enhance commit, discard 1 momentum, mill 3. Add 1 stun attack milled this way to your hand, which is why all of our attacks have the stun keyword, so that this can try to fish any attack in our deck if need be. There's no dud attack that doesn't have stun that we wouldn't be able to pick up. And then it also has the Team Rokuyukai response. After your rival commits 1 or more foundations due to your effect during this attack, it gains +1 damage. So, like I said, a lot of our stuff we're looking for speed, but we also don't really have, outside of Ogre Boulder and the enhance on Knife Edge Deathmatch and Flame Scourge, okay, we have some things that boost their own damage, but outside damage boost is always helpful too. And then we've got Stumbling Warrior, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid block. It says enhance flip, your stun attack gets 1 speed and 2 damage. You get speed, you get damage, you don't even have to commit for it. What's not to love about this? And then we have Acrobatic Style. Sorry if I'm kind of running through this a little fast. I do have, 18 of these to run through in the next 12 days or so. So I'm going to try to not ramble as much, which is hard for me, trust me. So, moving on, Acrobatic Style. A 1 difficulty, 5 control with a 3 low block. It says, response, Tenacious, flip. After a rival foundation is committed due to your effect, ready this card. Good for increasing the longevity of your attack strings, but this also works with Showdown or Master of Drunken Fighting on your turn, or your rival's turn. Things you can do on your rival's turn to force them to commit a foundation, you can then ready these on your rival's turn. Next we've got Childlike Appearance, a 2 difficulty, 4 control with a +2 high block. It says Enhance, Destroy, discard 1 momentum, reduce this attack speed to 0, and if it's blocked, commit 1 rival foundation. We don't really have any momentum outs in this deck, so Childlike Appearance is good to use our momentum to reduce speed, so we can block, and then selectively commit another rival foundation. Next up we have Botan's Coaching, a 0 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 mid block. It says Enhance, flip, both players discard 1 card and draw 1 card. This is going to be one of those rares that you see people picking up multiple playsets of because it is just such a good spam. So if you open these, hang on to them if you can, or flip them for a decent price if you can. Just don't price gouge. No one likes a price gouger. Then we've got New Number 1, a 3 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. It's got the unique keyword, it cannot be sealed as a static. It says Enhance, commit, return this attack to its printed speed. This attack is +1 or -1 speed. So if your opponent's trying to slow your attacks down because you're committing all their foundations, you can tell them, I don't think so. I'm actually going to go back to printed and get 1 extra speed. Or if your opponent's speed boosting themselves to High Holy Heaven, you can return it to printed and give it -1 so it's blockable. Next we have Foresight, a 0 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 low block. It says Response, after you play this card, look at the top card of your deck. It's pretty solid. It allows you to see what you can play next maybe, especially in a good long build turn 1. And then Enhance, remove, reveal the top card of either player's deck. So again, kind of getting that peak need be. You get to see what your rival's check's going to be, so you know how much speed you have to put on something, or you can fish to see what your next check is going to be. Then we've got Sense of Justice, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. It says Enhance, commit, name a keyword. Your rival's attacks get -X speed or -X damage. X equals the number of attacks with that keyword in their card pool. A lot of decks nowadays are what they call tribal, mono punches, mono charge, mono ranged. So this is a really good hard counter for decks like that. Either giving the attack -X speed so you can block it, or -X damage so you can kind of just ignore it. And late into a string when you can't block something, or maybe you don't have any cards in your hand, which is Chew, you're not going to worry about that. This is just a very solid defensive piece, plus a nice +2 high block. Next we've got Can't Escape Me, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 mid block. It says Response, destroy, after your rival plays an ability on a non-character card that adds any number of cards to their hand, cancel it. Like I said, Botan's Coaching is going to be everywhere. So if, say, your rival has no cards in their hand and they flip Botan's Coaching, you would have to discard a card and draw a card. If they have no cards in their hand, they would just get to draw a card. So you could pop Can't Escape Me to tell them you just wasted your time. And then since you're going to be committing everything, your opponent's probably going to want to build into Deadlock. So this has a Deadlock Enhance. Your attack, your attack gets +1 speed for each committed rival foundation. What better way to get Knife Edge Deathmatch to hit, especially if your rival is building into Deadlock to avoid the 8 or more committed foundations win condition. Next we have a cheeky one of Influencing the Youth, a 2 difficulty, 4 control with a +3 mid block. It says Form, remove, name a foundation. Commit all copies of the named foundation in both stages. So if your opponent's got a bunch of Ice Glidings, for example, or a bunch of some other card, Botan's Coaching, some other card that they can use defensively, you can commit all copies of that card at once before your string even starts. So that's a really solid tech piece there. Speaking of ice gliding, we have ice gliding, a 1 difficulty 5 control with a +3 mid block. It says enhance commit, this attack gets +1 or -2 speed, and if it is blocked, the next attack gets +1 or -1 speed. So this is good for giving your attacks that speed boost they need to try to get them to hit, and then if your rival blocks it, your next one gets 1 speed to make that one even harder to block too. So really trying to make sure that your attacks land to be able to commit and flip your rival's foundations. Next we have Making a Stand, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 low block. It says enhance, flip, your rival discards 1 momentum. With all the echo cards going around and another character that wants face-up momentum, having some momentum hate's really good. And then enhance, your stun attack gets +1 damage for free. So free damage on all of your attacks and some crucial momentum hate if you need it. Then we've got Fruit of Our Labors, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. It says enhance, rival's turn, remove, discard 2 cards from your card pool. I have a feeling Kurama is going to be everywhere. So this is a really good defensive tech piece against Kurama. He wants to stuff your card pool, you can get those cards out of your card pool. And then with Chu forcing your opponent to maybe build into Deadlock, it says Deadlock form, flip, your rival builds 1 card from their hand face down. So they do get an extra foundation, but they lose a block out of their hand. Win-win. Then we've got a nice Citywide Crisis as a 1 of, a 2 difficulty, 4 control, +2 high block with unique and weapon as its keywords. It says response, your turn, commit. After your rival adds 1 or more cards to their hand due to their non-character effect, they add 1 card from their hand to their card pool face down. Again, Botan's coaching is going to be everywhere. The Mop Strike, the new Botan Time Shift card, is going to be everywhere, I think. So having a way to punish your opponent for drawing without not using their character is probably going to become a really good thing to be able to tech for. And then enhance, remove, return this attack to its printed speed, playable while committed. So a good piece of speed reset there if need be. And lastly, we have Drowning in Resentment, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. It says enhance, flip, this stun attack gets +2 or -2 damage, playable while committed. And then response, flip, after a card leaves a discard pile due to your rival's non-character effect, they add the top card of their deck to their card pool face down. Kurama has cards that searches his discard pile for his character cards. I'm sure there are other things I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I know there are some cards that when they're destroyed or they get sent to the discard pile, they can remove themselves for specific effects and such. Floating Around My Babies is, I think, a cost, actually. Either way, it's mainly here for the stun boosting, and it's playable while committed stun boosting. Yeah, that is our Day 1 Chu. It is 61 cards. It's got relatively decent block zone switching up. But yeah, this was the first thing that came to mind, was how do we get Knife Edge Deathmatch to connect and to really make sure that our opponent is going to not be able to deal with it. My ideas were boost a bunch of speed, make sure you're stunning everything, stun on your opponent's turn with cards like Showdown and Master of Drunken Fighting, so that can also help limit their turns and just go in guns blazing. But that will do it for Chu for tonight. So thank you again for watching these videos, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I could use all the help and support I could get. And check back. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of uploads throughout this week and next, leading up to the Dark Tournament release. So until next time, take care, guys.